Hey guys, welcome to day 71 of my carnivore journey. And I got a few things I want to cover today. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible, but I've heard a variety of comments and I've had actually quite a few questions. And so, first and foremost, I just want to say hi to a lot of the new followers. We've been getting pretty good amount of new followers here recently. So, I just want to say thank you guys seriously, and some of them are across the pond. um and I just want to say thank you, welcome to our little community here. Like, we just became our own little network, you know, our own little family here on my diary channel. So thank you. All right, but I've also gotten a lot of questions, so it seems like there's a lot of people that are entertaining the thought of carnivore. So I want to cover a couple things. One is, I had a few different people ask me about, like, did I do any tests? Did I check certain blood levels? Did I check, did I have like an artery test? Um, you know, with like calcification, like anything, all those things. And the short answer is no. I mean, one is, the medical system is already expensive enough. Times are tough. I can't just run to the doctor and be like, hey, can I have this full panel blood screen, and I'm sure my insurance will pay for it, and I won't have any kind of copay and blah blah blah. I'm not made of money, guys. Sorry. As much as I would have loved to go to the doctor and say, hey, I need to do these tests, a full blood panel test, I want to do an artery test, but I'm not really interested so much in being an experiment. You know what I mean? I'm trying to share, and I'm trying to do things to pass along, like an everyday person going through carnivore, and I'm just trying to share my experiences, share what I feel, and I don't hold anything back. As a lot of my regular viewers that's been with me a while know, that I will tell you just about everything I can think of that I feel you need to know. um with that being said, you know I understand the science part of carnivore, and people want to know, because when they do something, they want proof. And all I can tell you is, and I've mentioned this before, either go back and watch some of my previous videos, um, but I've said this before, so I'm going to say it again for all the new people. I spent a year just researching, okay? Going down the rabbit hole, as they say. And one thing led to another. I kept uncovering deeper and deeper truths upon truths, getting to facts, going past the BS and getting to the actual facts, okay? Because there's a lot of things that are said out there, a lot of things that are misleading. Um, Doctors that are claiming that certain studies have shown that this blah, 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 or whatever, when in fact, those studies don't show that. They actually don't even show any causation. There's a ton of things that you can get into on those. But bottom line, I spent like a year, and then I finally decided, you know what? The timing seemed right. I was getting kind of tired of being fat. So I did keto. I started with keto, and I learned what the rules sort of was with keto, like, what's considered keto, what's the goal. And then after a couple of weeks, I had already been learning about carnivore, and it just seemed like I heard so many good testimonials coming out of the carnivore world, that I'm just like, all right, well, let's just go carnivore. Let's do it. And I did it for like a month or something, all together like 6 to 8 weeks somewhere. I can't exactly remember. I know it was close to 2 months, but I had lost weight. I felt great, but I lived with my wife, who, and we have a teenager son at the time, where we had sort of this divided household. She didn't want to learn. She didn't want to, think outside that box. And so we had this divided household, and she was cooking back then. Now he works, I cook, and I just make myself, whatever carnivore stuff. Anyways, but in between, last year when I did the first try, and then now that I have the support, now I'm on day 71. I have support from my wife. But in between that time, I also kept watching videos. Like I'd be working and I'd come across, like a video on sugar or high cholesterol or what is cholesterol, and I would just learn, and I would watch the videos and I would be like, all right, what is this based off of? And then I would look into what is that information based off of. Is this just like mainstream opinion? Is this actual facts? Is this, what is this from? So you start to get where where this stuff is stemming from and the truths behind these things, behind the food pyramid, all these things. So why do I say all this? Why do I spend the last 5 minutes talking about this? It's because all of you new subs, all of you new viewers, or even ones that don't view, and if you're watching this, please click the subscribe. It's free and it helps to grow our community. But if you're considering the carnivore diet, you should study, you should do research, but make sure when you do the research that you go beyond just that surface level. Make sure that you know what the real facts are, not just what, because you might have like the American Heart Association or something, and be like, well, the American Heart Association said that red meat leads to cancer. I mean, whatever, I don't know, or heart disease. How so? Where's the evidence? That's what you have to ask yourself. And then when you dig and you find out that there is no direct correlation or causation between, eating red meat and having heart disease, you're going to be like, man, this whole time I was always told, I was always under that impression. Same thing with saturated fats. I was always under the impression that they're bad for you. High cholesterol is bad for you. So remember, once you break through and you learn, that's when you can start to heal. Now, as far as I want to move past that. So yes, guys, I was very thorough. And here's another thing. There's two more points actually I want to make on this real quick. One is, how many diets have you seen out there that actually will tell you, hey, go get a blood panel and then do 90 days carnivore and then do another blood panel? No diets take that challenge. Not that I know of. Please tell me if one of them, if there's somebody out there, I don't care if it's a Mediterranean diet. You show me a Mediterranean person that's strictly Mediterranean that encourages you to go and take blood work before and after. Okay. You just don't really see that. And you don't see it from a large number of people. Yeah, you might get that one or two folks that might say those things, but as far as the community in whole, carnivore is the only community I've ever seen, the only diet I've ever seen that strongly encourages tracking the health numbers. Again, some of us can't. We don't have the money to be going to the doctors and blah, blah, blah. All right. I just don't have time. Again, I'm just judging by scale and how I feel. Like, how do I feel? Is this sustainable? Those kind of questions. That's how I do it. And the other thing I just wanted to say about the carnivore diet is that, you really can go also, the testimonials. You really get a sense of something when you look into the comments, right? So if you wanted to know more about the Atkins diet or the Mediterranean diet or the whatever brand veganism, go into the comments and look for all the testimonials. I mean, look at all the testimonials, and you'll see that the carnivore ones and some keto, because keto and carnivore, they're all in the same family. We don't want to knock on keto, but I'm saying especially the carnivore. Look at the comments. Look at how many people. You can just go through mine. I only have 71 days of videos, including today, right? And I've got a few other little videos. But look at the comments in my videos alone. You can go through there and you will see a ton of people all sharing like how carnivore has made their life for the better. So just think about that. Okay, really quickly, we spent like 10 minutes on that. I'm sorry. I wanted to get that out there. The other thing is rules. Carnivore. Some people were asking me questions. One of the questions in particular that I remember off the top of my head was like, they just asked me this today, I think, which was like, am I allowed to have mustard on carnivore? So here's what I want. Here's what I want for anybody that's new. I love the fact that you're asking, and that's what you should do. And but that's why I said I wanted to address this not just in a comment, but to everybody that watches this. Carnivore, you keep it as simple as you can. Okay? Think of it like this. You want to be as natural as possible. Obviously, meat, right? Think of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and salt. Okay? Obviously, if you can't go and get, you want to get away from your iodized salt, like you probably, most of us have all habitually bought over the years, the Morton's iodized salt or whatever. Anyways, the iodized salt or iodine, get just stop getting that. It has sugar in it. Okay, it's got dextrose, whatever. You get away from that. You want to go with either Himalayan pink salt or Redmond's real salt. Okay, now Himalayan pink salt, yes, I know sometimes it's sea salt. They don't have to label things correctly, and it could contain microplastic. I'm not going to stress about that. I still think Himalayan pink salt is going to be better than Morton's salt with sugars and stuff. So I'm using Himalayan pink salt until I order me some Redmonds. In fact, I might even order me some Redmonds this week. Okay. So beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. But here's the overall rules, right? Here's kind of all the rules in a nutshell. No sugar and no carbs. That's really it, right? And you want to avoid as much artificial. So if you have like let's just say you have like a diet soda that has no sugar and no carbs, that doesn't count, okay? Anything that's artificial, artificial sweeteners, you really want to knock out anything sweet that's going to trigger like your glucose and all that, potential diabetes stuff. But that's really it. So like mustard, so there's different levels of carnivore based on what you want. Remember, it's what you want. And the way I explain it to some people is think of that 4-lane interstate. Okay? That interstate is heading all in the same direction. Like we're all the carnivore people, we're all on the same interstate. It's just that maybe you're in the fast lane and you might reach the destination a little faster. You might be riding in the slow lane. You're still going to get to the destination. It'll just take you a little longer. That's all. Okay? And again, and you have the lanes in between. And what I mean by that is if you're in the fast lane, you're probably just eating meat. You're probably eating a lion diet of just meat, salt, and water. Right? And you're going to eat just enough till you're full and you'll be satiated and you'll be good. You're probably going to be in the fast lane. You'll probably start seeing some, amazing results just eating meat. Like I said, I call it the fast lane. The slowest lane is probably going to be more towards your ketovore. This is when you, and this is what I kind of recommend. Like when you first start getting on an interstate, when you first learn how to drive, right? You don't just usually shoot right over to the fast lane, do you? When you first was getting on the interstate, it was intimidating at first. So you eased into the slow lane. And then once the semis got annoying, then you moved over one more lane. But anyways, when they were about to run you over because you were driving a little too slow. But the same thing with carnivore. You can ease into carnivore. You can spend a week or two doing more keto style. Or again, you can kind of get into that. But yeah, like mustard, like condiments, spices, right? You don't want to do too many spices all the time, but that's what we call dirty carnivore. So, like tonight, I had tacos. Yes, I know. I've been having all kinds of naughty-ish foods, but I couldn't help it. I wanted to try something. And by the way, guys, here's the recipe. Here's the photo. Check that out. Yeah, that's those are cheese shells, and I found out how to make them. They're super easy, and you fold them over like you can shape them, and they make amazing tacos. They've even got a little bit of a crunch to them, almost like a hard shell taco. And it's like you could just now for the photo, I put a light thing of cheese, but in all honesty, you don't even have to put that light layer of cheese. You can just put meat in there, and now you got your meat and cheese taco. But the spices, I did use some spices for my taco meat because I allow myself to be a little dirty. So a little bit of chili powder and a little bit of garlic, and a little bit of salt. See, salt, garlic, and then and a little bit of cumin. Okay, those are kind of some basic ingredients just to make things taste like tacos, right? So you can mix that up, have your little taco seasoning, and again, I had that. Um, but again, you really in the beginning, if you ease into it, once you decide, like say you spend a couple weeks being like a dirty carnivore, then you want to go clean for a while. Go clean for a few weeks, get adjusted. Once you're adjusted and you feel at some of your top of your game and you feel clean and everything's good, then start introducing back some things one at a time. So maybe the one meal you add some garlic and you just see how you feel. In this case, when I was asked about mustard, hey, mustard's fine. You know, if you're eating a hot dog and you want to dip a little bit into some mustard, you know, and hot dog is your only meat that you can have as a carnivore right now because maybe costs, maybe you need to have some hot dogs. So, you got a little bit of mustard, maybe that might make it easy. There's no, there's not a ton of rules to carnivore other than you want to try to get as natural as possible. You know, grass fed beef, you know, pasture raised chicken and eggs and all that stuff. I mean, that's all nice. That's all fun, fine and dandy. But some of us can't afford super expensive, clean stuff. But the less chemicals in the product, the better. When you find a cheese, if you decide to have cheese, so dairy is also sort of a dirty carnivore. You can have some cheese. You want to stick to harder cheeses like Parmesan, things like that. But you know, I'll have like cheddar, you know, but you really want to stay away from, of course, like Kraft singles, like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, like cheese, you can have heavy cream, a little bit, small doses of heavy cream. I have coffee with a splash of heavy cream. You can have sour cream, cream cheese, but you try to stay away from milk, you know, because again, you start getting more into the sugary category at that point. Anyways, I just wanted to kind of explain some of the basic rules. Just remember beef, butter, bacon, and eggs is sort of that main staple. And when it comes to the beef part, you can have chicken from time to time. You can have pork from time to time. You can have hot dogs, bologna, spam, or you can have some of your processed meats if you need to. Okay? But you want to try to stick to ground beef, you know, maybe lamb, goat, wheat goat, a lot of ruminant animals, meaning they have like multiple stomachs, that you know, those type of animals, like cows. That's healthy. That's what you want to eat the most. And so, of course, eggs. You know, if you can get good raised eggs, get good raised eggs. If you can't, just get eggs. You know, bacon, butter, are all good things. Okay. So I just wanted to explain a little bit. Hopefully, some of you newer folks or folks considering doing carnivore, maybe you can take the rules I said, the basic rules, and apply that to your stuff. And if you have questions, if you need more clarification, then do that. But I always say, in my opinion, not set in stone, not rules, ease into a carnivore diet with at least a week or two of keto. Let your body start to adjust because you cut off the sugar, and with keto you still have carbs, but they're really low. So you drastically cut your carbs, cut your sugars, and you can still do some sugars on keto, but you really want to try to get those extremely low. A couple weeks doing that, let yourself adjust, and then cut out all the sugar, cut out all the carbs, and go to beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and try to do that for as clean as you can for the next 90 days. And then throughout that 90 days, after a month or so, if you want to slowly start getting back dirty a little bit, you can. But I would try to always stay away from sugars and carbs. I've incorporated a little bit of sugar not that long ago. It sucked. I was hurting for 4 days. A lot of you probably, like a lot of other viewers, remember that. Tried introducing a few carbs recently when I tried some experimental taco shells that I came across that were like they were supposed to be like one net carb. And I had like 3 of them or 4 or whatever it was. And I didn't have a ton of them. It was just like 3 of them, I think. And it messed me up. I was like hurting. But it didn't last 4 days on that, but it just hurt that day. But so now I'm just trying to do everything I can to just stay away from carbs and sugars. Okay. But anybody going through this, again, there's not hard set rules other than no sugar, no carbs, stay away from as much chemicals as you can, if you can. All right. But anyways, if you have questions about it, ask us. Ask us in the community. Because we'll tell you. We'll say, yeah, you can have that, but like ketchup, you gotta be really careful. Ketchup is more keto. So if you're eating like a ketovore, you can have ketchup, but they have special ketchup. I think even Walmart carries ketchup by Primal Kitchen, I think it is. And it's supposed to be like sugar-free, ketchup. No sugar ketchup. But again, you're still talking about carbs. There's probably going to be multiple chemicals in it. Just got to start reading labels. But in any case, guys, the video's gotten pretty long. But I just felt like those 2 subjects needed time to discuss. Of course, the first subject of research, educate, learn, all that good stuff. And then the second subject, establish the rules that's going to work for you. And trust me, once you start eating clean and you start getting it down after a month or 2, it does get easier. You're still going to struggle with some things, but in the end, you'll feel a lot better. I'm down 31 pounds. I haven't weighed myself since since that beginning of the week, last week, but down 31 pounds and feeling good. And I'm gonna try to go for more. And again, it's the health, it's the feeling that I get from being on carnivore more than just the weight loss. Anyways, guys, we will see you tomorrow for day 72. Can't believe time is going by. I say that every time. All right, guys.